It's officially snowier than it's ever been the whole time that I've lived in the place where I've lived. And basically this is my grocery day and when I typically get groceries, but we can't get out of the house because it just keeps snowing. So I wanted to film a what I eat in a day video today and I almost didn't do it because I was like, what am I gonna share? I have no food. But then I thought, you know, I can't possibly be the only one in this situation. And I know there are those days, like I've meal planned the whole week, but I can't get out of my driveway. So I'm going to do a what I eat in a day based on the little stuff that I have in my pantry, my fridge, and my freezer. Freezer pantry is going to be the theme of today's what I eat in a day. And actually good for us, and how great is a whole food plant-based diet, because although I love to get in a ton of fresh fruits and vegetables, on a day like today, or if you're on a super tight budget, that's not always possible. So I'm gonna show you some really kind of probably very inventive recipes of what I'm going to do from my pantry and my freezer. But first, let's take a look so you know that I'm really at the bare bones of all of this, and I don't have a lot of options. Bare bones in a very sad state of what's going on in the fridge here. We've got a couple of avocados, some turnips, who wants those, limes, and some carrots down there. Not a whole lot to work with here. So I'm gonna have to be extra inventive. The good news is my pantry is actually really quite stacked full, and so I'm gonna have to come up with something from all the stuff in here. And I actually do have my freezer pretty full to work with here. Having no store-bought plant milk, I've decided to make my own with some almonds, and I actually soaked these overnight because I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to make. So I am just rinsing them off. They should be nice and plump when they're soaked. And then in my Vitamix, I'm adding 4 cups of filtered water, 1 cup of the soaked and drained almonds, a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm adding 3 dates and a pinch of salt. Blending this up on high until it's nice and smooth, and then I'm straining it through a nut milk bag and just getting all the excess liquid out. Now this used to be the only way to make nut milk, but there are lots of different little kitchen gadgets that you can use that make this even easier. And I love homemade nut milk because you get freshness without extra additives. So now let's make a really thick vanilla chia seed pudding. In a large 32-ounce mason jar, add 9 tablespoons of chia seeds, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, and then I'm using 3 cups of that homemade almond milk that I just showed you. This really makes it nice and thick and creamy. Whisk it every 5 minutes for 15 minutes total, and then put it in your fridge for a couple of hours. The full recipe for this can be found on my website. I'm gonna garnish this with just some frozen berries because, hey, that's all I've got.
Can I eat one?
Yeah, you can have one.
And here, and here. You're freezing because you like freezing. I sit on my hands.
You show your hands to the camera? It's there. Get your berry hands. We all got berry hands. Good job. I've got this much edamame, which is not much. I'm gonna go ahead and steam that, and I'm gonna make an edamame mashed sandwich. While that's steaming for about 5 minutes, I'm going to crush a garlic clove. I'm gonna shell the edamame, put them in there, and I tried a couple different ways that just didn't work. Potato masher, no. And then I used a fork, and it was like, kind of. I added a teaspoon of vegan mayo and salt and pepper, and I would say if I had more edamame, I would have easily thrown this in the food processor. It would have blended much better, but you know how it is when you have too little ingredients in a food processor or blender, it just turns out to be a headache. So lesson learned for next time, I'll make a larger batch in the food processor. I'm gonna slice up whatever fresh veggies I have. So that is some red cabbage. I've got some onion and some lovely tomato slices. And I've got a tiny bit of lettuce that I had pre-washed that I didn't see earlier. So I'm going to put the lettuce first, top it with the edamame so it doesn't spill, add the rest of my veggies, and then I decided to put some sauerkraut on top, which was a really good idea. Then add some red chili flakes just for some spice. So this is a really weird sandwich. I've made this bread a little too toasty, so I'm gonna have to cut it in half or I'm not gonna eat it at all. Hi. Yeah. Oh. I did it. Okay, so let's see what this tastes like. I have a feeling it's gonna be good because like most sandwiches are good. It smells good. Yeah, very unexpected, but totally does a trick. Actually really like it. Yum. So random ingredients totally were a success for this lunch sandwich. A little crunchy.
Yeah, I gotta go to the dentist after this. Toasted really badly for the photo.
I know. I really like the garlic in that.
Yeah,
It's so garlicky.
I agree.
I'll just eat all the parts that fell out of your sandwich, okay?
Drop. Who made that sauerkraut? It's amazing.
It's really good.
What's next?
When I looked in the pantry, we have potatoes, we have diced tomatoes, we got spices, of course, we got coconut milk. So I was thinking to make like an Indian, something like a curry,
I love Indian.
but make it fast, like a curry in a hurry.
That is a good name. We should put in the book.
I like when you like create something that's not what you would normally eat and it's good. Sometimes it happens and it's really bad, but sometimes it's good. Today was one of those days. I'm prepping all my veggies that I had in the pantry, and I'm going to, in a large wok, fry with a little bit of vegetable broth, some red onion, garlic, ginger, bell pepper, and jalapeno. Saute that for about 3 to 5 minutes. Then I'm adding in a can of diced tomatoes, chickpeas, coconut milk, vegetable broth, curry, cumin, turmeric, and paprika. And I'm just gonna let this cook over a medium to a low heat. I'm gonna slightly cover it to help speed up the cooking of the potatoes for about 15 minutes or until the potatoes are tender. You want to just stir it occasionally. I love the coconut milk for a curry because it just makes things extra creamy and delicious. You can always use a light coconut milk if you like. Once the potatoes are tender, you can add in lime juice, garam masala, salt to taste, and cook it for about 5 more minutes on a low simmer.
Again, but I don't wanna think what's tossing.
Serve it with cilantro, some diced jalapeno, and more lime juice. Oh, so delicious. This dish turned out great alone. It had both starches and beans for fullness. I would typically serve something like this over a bed of greens, but I just didn't have it. But if you'd like, you could serve it over a grain, and that would totally work too if you need something heartier.
Bag of all your things, the memories of when I kissed you.
So that worked out better than I was expecting, and I actually got some kind of inventive new meals under my belt. If you're new around here, I'd love for you to subscribe and like this video. Head over to my website where you can get your free ebook guide, Plant-Based Life, which is just like my guide to getting started, and it also has 15 delicious recipes that I know you're gonna love. I hope that this snow goes away very, very soon, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.